Hi, welcome back to VeloNews TV. I'm Neil Rogers. I'm joined today with two representatives from the Successful Living Park Pre-Team. This is rider-manager Ryan Yee and Team Director Steve Haig. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
What brings you to Boulder today?
We're in town to participate in our sponsor's Christmas party and to be on VeloNews TV.
Is that tonight, the Christmas party?
No, it's tomorrow night.
Okay. Okay, and let's talk a little bit about the sponsor. I mean, Successful Living is maybe not as obvious a title sponsor as like Saturn or something. Can you explain a little bit what Successful Living is?
Yeah, Successful Living is the brainchild of the owner, Russ Dalby, who owns America's Note Network. And what he does is he teaches people how to buy and sell real estate and notes and loans on anything from a house to a car to a boat to a plane. So, you know, people that want to work from home and try to make some money, Russ has got a program for them. And Russ is an old personal friend of mine. We used to race together back in the early 80s. And a couple years ago, we lost our sponsor with Sea Silver out of Carlsbad. And I picked up the phone and called Russ and told him I had a turnkey cycling team and did he want to get involved. And here we are today.
Yeah, and the headquarters are here.
Yeah, here in Westminster.
Yeah, and Ryan, were you involved with the Sea Silver team of 2005?
Yeah, I was a member of the Sea Silver team in 2005 while Steve was the director. And when the Sea Silver kind of crashed at the very end of 2005, right after the San Francisco Grand Prix, you know, Steve and I and a few other guys kind of decided, you know, there were a couple different options at that time, and other one was to look around and try to disperse and go to different teams, which some of the guys did, and then the other option, which Steve and I considered, was just, you know, since we already have everything together, you know, we already have a pretty solid foundation for a pro cycling team, then why don't we just go and together look for a sponsor? You know, Steve has all these connections from being in the sport for so long. You know, why don't we start looking through his, you know, black book, so to speak, and see if we can pull together something. So, you know, it just kind of happened by chance. I think Steve, if I remember the story correctly, Steve was just watching TV and saw one of Russ's infomercials on, you know, late night or early morning, and picked up the phone and called, you know, and said, hey, you know, we used to race back in the day together. You want to help us out? And so that's kind of where it spawned from. And then that was right before the deadline, you know, basically the registering deadline with the UCI for professional teams in the U.S. here. So kind of just squeezed through the gates last year. And then, you know, I think we had a pretty good year last year, you know, coming in kind of unknown. I'm not sure what's going on because we kind of threw everything together at the last minute, but I think things came together pretty well. But, you know, looking into this next year for 07, we've had a little bit more time to plan and a little bit more time to just kind of put things the way we want to have them. So we're looking forward to this next year.
Steve, you're an Olympic gold medalist from '84 in the individual pursuit. Talk a little bit about what it's like on the other side being a team director. I mean, you can tell us a little bit about your experiences last year.
Yeah, it's just like racing. It's you know, you want your guys to do well because it's a kind of an extension of who you are, or what you've accomplished in the sport, and it's a little, you know, it's a little bit out of your control, kind of like bike racing is, you know, from an individual standpoint. So, you know, you come into the team director thing and it's very similar. You know, you're just dealing with you know, 8 or 9 guys versus your own self, which is a challenge sometimes. But Ryan helps me get through all the management hurdles that you know, I need help with, and I just, you know, I love being on the road with the guys. I love when they win. You know, when they're down, I'm down. You know, they come back to the car with their chins on their tie, and I'm like, come on, man, it hurts me just as bad too. Let's move on. Let's get ready for next week. And, you know, we try and put the bad races behind us as quick as possible. Of course, there's always a lot of Steve Haig needling the guys. Even somebody made a comment today, Chuck Coyle, our new teammate, mentioned that he was in a breakaway that of about 20 guys that all of our guys missed. And I picked right up on it and says, oh, you were in that breakaway, huh, Chuck? Oh, yeah, I had guys in that race. So, you know, I don't know how to, you know, I want to encourage them, but I don't want to grab them like a knight and beat them with chairs and things like that. And I can't threaten them to ride behind the van for hundreds of miles between races. So, you know, we just try and do what we can.
What would you guys consider to be the team highlight of the '06 season?
Last year at the Tournai, Curtis Gunn got in a breakaway in the final criterium and went on to win. At one point, he had almost a minute clear of the field, and he was out there for a good 45 minutes or so. He and one other guy that's also going to be on our team next year, Greg Valenzuela. The two of them were in a 2-man break, and it worked out great. And Valenzuela was starting to get tired, and Curtis took advantage of the situation and won the race for us. It was our first NRC victory last season, and it felt great, and it was really exciting to be there. So I'm sure that was one of the highlights. One of the individual events was Daniel Ramsey was 10th in the individual time trial at the Nationals, which is where I see Daniel riding all year round, not just every now and then. So
Yeah, it's a hell of a ride.
yeah, it's a great ride. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to expect this from you every day now, because I mean, top 10, you got to do top 10 in the road race now. I mean, the time trial is harder than the road race. You get to recover in the road race.
So I know that you're based in Encinitas, it's just in San Diego, my
Mhm.
old stomping grounds, and you're in Ventura. So
Yeah,
this
just a little bit farther north.
this team's definitely got a Southern California base. But what's the schedule looking like for '07? I mean, are you guys going to hit the national circuit? What are your objectives?
Our objectives are to get out of the hole really quick in April and try and win a couple NRC races right away, to just try and establish ourselves as one of the, not one of the top teams in the country, but that we mean business and we want to race. And yeah, we are one of the top teams, but on paper and last year's results we're not. But we know we have the horsepower to race with the rest of the country, and we want to prove it right away and see if that'll help open some doors to some of these bigger races for us.
Ryan, maybe tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a rider manager. I would imagine that takes up just about all of your time, and maybe in certain situations you're telling some of the guys on the team, look, I need you to be here, I need you to do this, and then maybe out on the road the roles are reversed a little bit and they're telling you what they need.
Definitely. I mean, it's there are days where it's a bit too much, where it's like ride on the bike, and then as soon as you get off the bike you're also doing bike things. There's not much of a break in between a lot of times, but it is kind of cool too, because it kind of breaks things up a bit. From the monotony of like on the bike things, you're just only doing push pull, thinking, and then it's nice to stimulate your brain a little bit and think about the whole management, financial side of the team too. So it's been a pretty cool learning experience for myself, and something I probably wouldn't normally have been able to do in different situations, but it's turned out pretty well.
Steve, I know you went to the Olympics in '84, and was it '96 as well?
Right. Mm-hmm.
When did you retire?
I think it was 2002 or 2000.
So I'm just curious, I mean, as a team director behind the wheel, is it kind of an unusual experience where I know there are other team directors out there that used to race, Danny Van Hout, Ed Beeman. I mean, is it sort of like, hey, I used to race against you and now I'm behind the car and you're behind the car and I'm racing against you again? Tell me about that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a pecking order because, like Beeman and Schuler and Stockton, they became directors before I did, and Van Hout, so they have their little clique, you gotta pay your dues behind the steering wheel also now, and so it's it's just the nature of the beast. I think we're established now in the peloton pretty well that we don't feed out of the right side of the car. We try and follow all the UCI protocol as best as possible.
Cool. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, you guys. And
I'm
not going to hit the cliche and wish you a successful season, but I wish you plenty of success. How about that?
Thank you, Neil.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.